What's going on, guys? My name's Theoatrix, and today I'm bringing you guys a new video on Slayer points in old school RuneScape, mainly talking about the best rewards that you can get from Slayer points, but I'm also going to talk about the basics of Slayer points and the differences between wieldy and normal Slayer tasks. Yes, I am back. I have been away for a while at university studying hard for my mid-semester exams, but now I am back, and I appreciate all you subscribers watching this video and always sticking around even if I do go away for a while. But anyway, let's get into today's video. Slayer points, you get a Slayer point or some Slayer points after you complete a Slayer task, and there's no quests or requirements needed to be able to get Slayer points other than the requirements for the specific Slayer master. Now you can start getting Slayer points after you complete 5 Slayer tasks in a row without resetting your Slayer task streak at Theoatrix. Now in most cases when you're getting Slayer points from a Slayer master, there are boosts to those Slayer points depending on how many tasks you've done. All those boosts will be on the screen right now. You can pause the video, have a read, but I'm gonna move right along into Wilderness Slayer. And now Wilderness Slayer actually has a separate task streak counter and doesn't reset your regular Slayer task counter or interfere with it at all. Now Chris Stilia, which is the Wilderness Slayer master, is in Edgeville, and she gives huge amounts of Slayer points per task. 25 points is the base amount, but remember, you do need to complete 5 Wilderness Slayer tasks before you actually start getting points from her. Now the catch, of course, is you have to kill these Slayer monsters in the wilderness, so the tasks are a little bit slower since you can't exactly use a cannon very well, but they are very good tasks for boosting your Slayer point. Now I'm going to talk about the regular Slayer masters, which assign monsters all across RuneScape. Now Theoatrix, as I was saying before, is a Slayer master used for resetting your task counter, and in saying that, he gives no points for completing a task with him. But it is actually really clever to get a task from him for the 1 to 4 task. And the reason for that is if you actually get a task from him without resetting another task, it actually counts towards the 5 that you need to start gaining Slayer points. But if you're getting above 5 Slayer tasks in a row, you should definitely move on to a different Slayer master just to make sure you get the most points possible. Now the rest of the Slayer masters with their reward point amounts and also their requirements are on the screen right now. Feel free to pause and have a look, but the ones that I'm gonna point out are Neve and Steve, and their tasks are mostly revolving around the Slayer dungeons across RuneScape, so these tasks are quite easy to get to. I have made a video of how to get to the relatively new Slayer dungeons that were recently moved out of Neve's cave. There'll be a card on the screen if you'd like to watch that, but anyway, your best bet when it comes to doing Slayer tasks is Duradel. And the reason why Duradel is so OP is because he gives 15 points per task, and he assigns Slayer tasks that are in all of RuneScape, so not in the wilderness, and that is 15 points. 15 points multiplied by those multipliers that I said before for the 10th and 50th task, etc. 15 times those multipliers is a lot, so you get a lot of Slayer points from completing tasks with Duradel. Now, what can you actually buy with Slayer points? And I've put the things that you can buy into 4 separate categories, and they are the Slayer monster perks, the Slayer monster extensions, the Slayer items and gear that you can craft or buy, and also skipping and blocking Slayer tasks. As I said, I'm going to explain the notable rewards from each of these 4 categories with the purchase of Slayer points. And firstly, the most important in my opinion is Slayer items and gear. Now to unlock the Slayer helmet, you need to unlock something called Malevolent Masquerade, and it costs 400 Slayer points and should probably be the first thing you aim for, or one of the first things to aim for once you start off Slayer. And unlocking this allows you to craft a Slayer helmet with 55 crafting. Now you can also recolor these Slayer helmets, and I do not recommend doing this unless you're a very high Slayer and you have a lot of Slayer points, but you can change the color of the Slayer helmet with different drops from certain monsters to purple, black, green, and red. Now another very important Slayer item to unlock is called Ring Bling, and that allows you to craft a Slayer ring. And Slayer rings, once you can craft them, become very overpowered for Slayer because they can get you to so many locations and have other useful teleports, such as if you go to the Fremennik Slayer dungeon with the Slayer ring teleport, you are literally just next to a fairy ring. But keep in mind, crafting a Slayer ring needs 75 crafting. Now in terms of skipping and blocking tasks, a player can skip a task by going into the the rewards menu at any Slayer Master, and it costs 30 points to skip the current player assignment. Now keep in mind that is 30 points, and if you did 2 tasks at Duradel, that would cover the cost of skipping 1 task. And skipping a task doesn't reset the task counter, it simply just removes your Slayer assignment and you can get another one, keeping the same streak. Now blocking a task costs 100 points, and this skips your assignment that you have right now, and you can never get it again, and it puts it in the list on the rewards menu. The amount of quest points you have actually contributes to how many Slayer monsters you can block. So every 50 you can block another Slayer monster. So with 250 quest points, you get 5 monster blocks. And then the last block, which is the 6th slot in the rewards menu, is after completing the Elite Lumbridge Diaries, and you also need a quest cape. Now there are some other Slayer monster and item perks, and the number one thing that comes out of this category is the Superior Slayer, called Bigger and Badder. And this costs 150 Slayer points, and that gives you a chance at getting a superior version spawning of that Slayer monster while you're only on a Slayer task. Now these monsters drop a lot of extra drops like the Imbued Heart, the Eternal Gem, and they also give a lot more Slayer XP when you kill them, so you should definitely unlock this very early on if you can. Now another reward here is the extension of Slayer tasks, and you can extend a lot of Slayer tasks, and they're all on the screen right now. I'm not going to talk about them, but it's pretty self-explanatory. The numbers that are showing right now are the number of monsters you get assigned after you extend that Slayer task. Now with Slayer points, you can also buy items outright, meaning you just get them straight away, and the best item you can really buy straight up is a herb sack. And this stores 30 of each grimy herb. As long as you have 58 herb lore, that's what you need to use it. And this herb sack becomes so useful for Slayer tasks that drop a lot of herbs, and this makes them really useful for Iron Men because they need all the herbs they can get. But this herb sack costs 750 Slayer points. But anyways guys, that sums it up for everything I'd like to talk about Slayer points. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. Let me know what you think, and it feels good to be able to say this again. I'll see you guys soon with another video. Thank you so much for watching, and have a nice day.